All right, welcome to another episode of Soto Desperado Plays Star Wars The Old Republic. I uploaded one before that was without any verbal sound, just the sound in the game. And let me see. Make sure the volume goes up a bit. And basically it was just me getting stuck on a particular level. So I'm over here doing a flashpoint. It's Directive 7. I'm hoping I could do it. I'm hoping because it's one of the requirements, but I'm really low level right now compared to, if I'm not even a level 70, so it's a bitch. The one before I got stuck on, I couldn't get past it. I was trying to kill Darth Malgus because he betrayed the Emperor, but it doesn't matter. It's just if you don't do it now, you do it later.
Anti-aircraft fire was simply too intense. We've detected extensive security forces at the facility entrance. If you disable the enemy's targeting sensors, our fighters should be able to dispatch them for you.
Okay. We'll put Anton in the background here. Put him up all the way. Good. Go work overtime. Man tells his woman to make more money when she says she can't pay the rent.
Hey, babe, I have something to tell you.
Okay.
I can't pay the rent this month.
Why not?
I just don't have the money for it.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I just don't have the money. I think with all the Christmas...
Jesus. That's funny.
Hey, dog said, why not?
It's like, what do you think I mean?
He said, why not? So, wait a minute. Let me see the rest of this first.
Christmas shopping and everything, I didn't stick to our budget, I guess.
Oh my god. You just made the budget, like, last week, though.
This dude clutched his pearls. He said, my God.
I know, and I don't have the money for it. I don't know what to do.
He put that sandwich down.
Can you just do, like, overtime or something on the weekends?
You want me
to... I gotta play this from the beginning in its entirety. I gotta see the whole thing because I'm learning more now. Is she 100% responsible for all of the rent? I don't want to hear nothing else from black women. I don't want to hear nothing else from black women ever again, because this proves, and I'm gonna play it from the beginning, and I'm gonna give credit back to the creator to make sure that they get, visibility or whatever, because I always like to give credit to the creator. Thank y'all for sending this to me. For those of y'all that may not know, or have been living under a rock, there's this new trend that's going on Instagram, TikTok, whatever, where women is basically going to their men and they're secretly recording them and saying, hey babe, I can't pay the rent. Now, when I first started to see this trend start to hit just a few days ago or whatever, I don't even remember when it started happening. When I first started to see this trend hit, let me go ahead and rewind this back to the beginning to get to the beginning of this, is I seen women speaking about this from guys of means that basically is in a similar situation as like maybe my wife, where she don't work, she ain't worked in the last 16, 17 years, about to be 18 years or something like that. And it was like, a playful thing, like, what would the reaction be from going and saying, I ain't paying no rent, but they don't pay nothing anyway. So it was just kind of like a playful thing. Now it's evolved into something completely different, where people that was going 50-50 was going to see what the reaction is. And I seen, some of those, it was pretty funny. And then in this instance, it looks like she's the one that pays 100% of the rent. All right, let me play it from the beginning, uninterrupted, and then we're going to go from there.
Hey, babe, I have something to tell you.
Okay.
I can't pay the rent this month.
Why not?
Dog, we're we about to get kicked
I just
out.
don't have the money for it.
Put that sandwich down.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I just don't have the money. I think with
That's
all the
Chick-fil-A.
Christmas shopping and everything, I didn't stick to our budget, I guess.
So they must have kids.
Oh my god. You just made the budget like last week, though.
I know, and I don't have the money for it. I don't know what to do.
Can you just do like overtime or something on the weekends?
You want me to work overtime on the weekends?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to have to go back to work.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Are you serious? You want me to work overtime on the weekends?
After what happened, they said I couldn't come back, so it's not like I can just go back and start doing hours again. It's not that big of a deal. Just like grab some extra shifts on the weekends.
Wow.
I can't do.
Oh, wait. Oh, we. All right, first things first. Again, I want to emphasize that this is not central to just, whatever it is that y'all feeling about relationships and what y'all think is happening in relationships is not central to just black people or black culture. This now proves, I don't want to hear anybody else come to me and say, man, this only happens in the black community. It's not. It's normal. It's been normalized, and I've been trying to tell y'all that this is a normal thing, and the differences between how men see things versus how women see things or relationship issues is not just based off of race. It is across the board. It is Western culture in general. All right, so our cultural norms are completely out of whack. That's number one. Number two, this is the thing that y'all asked for. I know it sounds weird. It sounds weird and it sounds crazy to me because I'm not in that space. You know what I'm saying? I don't exist in a space where this is a conversation. If I ask my chick that, she would be like, what's going on? Like, what are we talking about? Because honestly, and once my daughter was born, because my daughter is about to turn 17, we made some adjustments. I mean, she worked for me, but her pay comes from me too. So it's just a completely different dynamic. I'm not even going to include myself in this conversation. But that was wild because then that would mean that she basically pays 100% of the rent and probably all of the bills that go along with it. And just me personally as a man, and I'm not telling people how they need to be running their relationships because I think that everybody got to work together to make sure that things is good. But dog, you're not contributing nothing, and you chilling and you eating Chick-fil-A in front of me? Me personally, I don't feel like I'm a man unless I'm out here being purposeful. Now, I know that people, again, need to combine resources and all of that, so that's not the thing that I'm arguing against. But I have to be purposeful. I got to be bringing in some resources. I got to be going to get it, and I got to be building something that's great for the future state of what we are. I got to be making sure that my daughter got college fund and all of that. But y'all women have advocated so much for feminism to where now you basically have become the masculine and he's become the feminine. But I can't say that you don't deserve it because this is the bed that you made. This is a situation that you put yourself into. And so when he is clutching his pearls, I kind of don't feel sorry for you because this is an environment that you created for yourself. So now when you go to him and say, hey, no, I can't pay the rent, and you looking for his reaction, don't sit here and act surprised. You knew he wasn't working. You knew he was killing. You knew he was a house husband way before you posted that on whatever respective platform that y'all sent this to. Don't sit here and look crazy to me. This is what you signed up for. And this is what love looks like in 2025 and going forward. Let me repeat. This is what love looks like in 2025 going forward. I don't know who started this trend. It seemed like we should always be able to go back and trace the original person that started this. But I will tell you that it's incredibly entertaining. It is funny. It is hilarious. I love it. I enjoy it. I want y'all to continue to go 50-50 or 100-0 as far as the woman paying for it because it is hilarious. And now you get to see what it's like to be a man and why you should have never tried to be on our level in the first place. Again, I'm always going to put a link back to the description or back to the video inside of the description of the video. Also, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Tej Hanley, 40% off your first order plus 20% off of life. And then last but not least, get your tickets to come and kick it with me in person. I love you. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you later.
Oh, there was a bridge over there. I didn't see it. Shit. I didn't see the fucking bridge. Anyway, well, let's swap the vid. Anton Daniels.
They identify it like
Says the Democrats have no one after Kamala Biden. Anton says Republicans will rule for over 20 years.
that with the party, but it
That's
didn't necessarily mean that that's what their beliefs were, and that's what that's how they was voting. But it wasn't cool to have a MAGA hat. It wasn't cool.
They
Actually, it
screwed
wasn't
themselves.
even cool to really have a flag.
Right.
It was
American
crazy
flag.
as that sounds.
It was like they were comparing MAGA to the Confederate, like the
They
Confederate
did.
flag.
They did.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I was ignorant to believe in that. I would admit that. I was very
It was
ignorant.
that was the power of the media. That's how powerful the media is. They can literally make you believe what they want you to believe. But Anton, I got a question for you. Side note, I know last week we were me and you were talking, and I was saying how I don't think Kamala is gonna run again, and that she doesn't have a chance, even if she do run again. But I really feel like she won't even put herself on that pedestal anymore. And you were saying that you think she's gonna run again, and try to be the president again. I was looking at your show earlier, one of the shows earlier, and I heard you were talking about this subject, and you had some man on the screen that was basically spilling the beans.
Oh,
on
mega
Kamala.
donor. Yeah.
Yeah. So when I said that to you last week, he was one of the reasons why I said that, because I had heard him before you had him up there. So do you feel, because I know you was saying you was cracking on my hat, and you was like, when you come back.
Hey, that was a nice bucket hat.
I love the hat.
Was that me that was cracking on the hat? I don't think I was cracking on the hat.
Yeah, because you was like, I'm gonna pull it up when you got. You was like, when you got this hat on, I'm gonna be like, yeah. Remember when you had that hat on?
Yeah. I remember. Yeah.
So,
You're right.
how do you feel now? Do you think she's gonna run again? Because I still feel like she's done, like really, really done.
I do. I go back and forth. I go back and forth sometimes. Because on one hand, you can hear the mega donor, but then at the same time, on the other hand, they was able to raise $1.5 billion.
Yeah,
That's a lot of money.
I
That's
know.
a lot of money. They raised more money than ever in history. The problem is that the Democratic Party, in my opinion, is in shambles, and they don't have anybody else. They really don't. They don't have anybody. If you look at the Republican Party, they're loaded, right? They got the Byron Donalds and J.D. Vance is up next. Vivek Ramaswamy, Tulsi Gabbard is defected. The best thing that y'all probably had in the, and I'm talking to Democrats in general, the best thing that they probably had was a Tulsi Gabbard. But they don't even have her anymore, And so when you think about it, and then right after that, Joe Biden just torched the entire party on his way out the door. They still got like 40 days left, and we don't know what else he's going to do. He hit the button. You know what I'm saying? So when you start to think about it from that perspective, I think that the Democratic Party itself is cooked. However, I do still think that I don't think it has anything to do with the party about whether or not she's going to win or not. I think it has more or less to do with her pride. And she is not the type of person, in my opinion, to go quietly. I think she is very matter of fact. I think she is bullish. I think she got that type of attitude that says that I can't believe y'all just tried to push me out. I don't think that she's just going to fall into obscurity. I believe that she's gonna try to at some point mount a comeback. I always believed that it was her and Biden was beefing from the time that they got into office, but he selected her as a part of the diversity, equity, and inclusion. And some way, somehow, her big head is gonna rear itself, and it's gonna. I don't think that she's going away at all. Some way, somehow, I believe that she's gonna show her big head, and she's gonna be back.
And the black community is going to rally behind her and throw all the money towards her like they
But
did.
you know what, Anton, I say that because I feel like the donors are very important. Without the donors behind you, you really don't have a campaign. You can't run this long. And her money is not long enough to run an election without any donors. Everybody needs donors. Even Trump needed donors. So I feel like because of the damage that she caused, I feel like these donors are not going to stand behind her anymore.
The donors is going to stand behind whoever the Democratic Party put out there. The question really isn't whether she's going to run again. The question is, would she be able to get out of a primary? That would be really the question. Because then she would have to show up in a primary in order to, showcase that she's actually worthy of being a candidate for president of the United States of America. I believe that she'll run again. How far she gets, whether or not they nominate her as the candidate on the Democratic side, that's to be, left to be discussed. But I do believe that she's going to run again. So outside of her, who you got? I think that AOC is probably the most popular in the party right now. Gavin Newsom is cooked. Like, who else you got?
I don't think it'll be a woman.
I said that too. I don't think it's going to be a female because they even Bill Clinton said it. He came out and said
Bill Clinton, they couldn't control what was going on in their own party this year.
Yeah.
I feel like
a lot can happen. A lot can happen. Was it 2027? They'll pop back up again, I think.
Yeah.
So
I think they could. I only see two people, and the only two people that I see in the party that's even remotely relevant from a popularity perspective is Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer and AOC. Gretchen Whitmer was with Oprah and them, and she was on every panel. She's also, the governor of a swing state, which is Michigan. That helps her significantly, and she's a white woman, and so that plays well. That plays much better than a black woman, way better.
Do you think the black community is going to vote for her, being a white woman? The way they went out.
Walk around with Cardi's on. She run around with Cardi's on. They call her Big Gretch. And
the black people like her in Michigan.
Let's hope that people are not still on the Democratic plantation. Let's just hope for that.
Oh no! I'm cool with it. Listen, I'm okay with it. I remember when I wore my Make America Great hat again to the game, to the Lakers game, and it was so funny because you seen the difference in people, and I seen people's attitudes switch up on me. Yeah, like people that have been rocking with me, and oh man, I love your show. I want to come to the studio and watch you do what you do and all of that. All of a sudden, they ain't want to be seen next to me.
Yeah, I had the same problem.
Like it was of all of the things as a content creator that I've ever experienced in my entire life, as far as public perception and people being against you, I've never seen more people in person, because I've never had anybody confront me that noticed me online or anything like that, or anybody that's been rocking with me and interacting with me. I've never, ever, ever in my life seen people distance themselves from me than when I wore that hat publicly, ever in my life. And I'm talking about people that I've been cool with, people that, oh man, or whatever. Now, conversely, I had way more people that supported me in person, so it was way more people that came up to me and was like, oh man, I'm rocking with you, I roll with you. But the people that was black people specifically, they did not want to be seen next to me. They distanced themselves from me, and it was like, I'm a leper. Like, forget you. Yeah. Now, the flip side of that is I'm a person that I don't give a fuck, and I'm used to that. You know, I'm used to being in a space. I'm used to being the black sheep. I'm used to, whether it be online or in person. Like I've been that way my whole life. So that actually excited me. It gave me even more because I realized that I was jogging an emotion, and so I also realized that the national TV was gonna put me on TV as soon as I sat down at my seat, and that's exactly what happened. People was coming up to me like, man, you know, I seen you on TV, and my uncle was like, what made him wear that? How did he even get in the arena with that? And like I said, I seen people that distance themselves from me, and it's cool though, because now when I see him today, because especially in a city, if you got it, or if you somebody that halfway is decent as far as getting money or got some relevance, it's a small circle. It's a very small circle, or you only one person removed from it. But I know who is who now. I know who the ops are. I know who the people that's only rocking with me because, you know, they was trying to get close, or the popularity or the visibility that come along with it. I know who is who now.
Yeah.
And so I'm able to separate it. Now I know who the ops are. And, you know, for me, it's fuck them.
Yeah.
I was going to say,
you know you were conservative before. I don't understand that.
Yeah, but it's a difference when you visually conservative.
Yeah.
Because see, a lot of people think that you just be trolling, you just be saying stuff online. But see, when you actually stand on that shit and you advocate for it and you put yourself out there, and see, again, you got to remember, I was talking this conservative talk way before anybody was able to predict what was going to happen in the election. So it was a lot of people that actually thought that she was going to win. You know, they never thought that Trump could ever get elected before again. And so I stood on that. And it's a difference between talking about it online and actually interacting in person. Because you got to remember, when you show up in person with that hat on, they got people that they know that they don't want to see with you. So they can't have their people seeing, because then it's like, oh, you rocking with him? I can't believe you even kicking it with, you know, you cool with him.
Yeah.
So they want to save face. They want to, even if they rocking with you, they not going to say it publicly. And so for me, it's like, fuck them. If you diss me publicly, I diss you privately.
And I just feel like that being conservative is just so extreme. Like, if you look, we are so normal. Like, the left is so far left that conservatives and Republicans are considered normal. Like, if you're justifying men being in women's bathrooms, if you're justifying deleting babies until the moment of birth, if you're justifying letting all of these illegal immigrants come in and taxpayer dollars funding it, if you're justifying funding all of these proxy wars, that is something that should be like, no, we should be America first. No, you know, morally this is wrong. Why is it that we are considered extreme for being normal? Like, this is just basic normality. Like, it's not anything that's far right. We're literally moderate because they're so far left.
Listen, people voted for Trump because he went to jail here in Atlanta. And when he went to jail, he was very relatable after that. Black people said, voting for Trump now.
So what was the sentiment? What were you experiencing down in Atlanta?
In Atlanta, it was like anti-Trump before he went to jail. And then when he went to jail, every black man was for Trump. And then the black women, not so much. But yeah, definitely black men were like free Trump. There was free Trump hats. Free Trump shirts. They were selling them.
That's pretty crazy.
Molly, what you was going to say? I think she was about to say something.
Go ahead, Molly.
I don't know. I don't remember. Sorry.
I don't like the Democratic Party right now. but there was a time when the Democratic Party wasn't crazy, and they weren't so LGBTQ happy. I mean, gays act like everybody's trying to take away their rights all the time, and that's just not the case. They're like paranoid, thinking that somebody's gonna tell them who to fuck or something, or how to fuck, and it's like, dude, unless there's a child involved, nobody gives a shit. As long as it's consensual, nobody cares. So they're just using bullshit excuses, and everybody sees through these bullshit excuses. I mean, they do. You just get tired of it all.
Perform your tasks content in the knowledge that our true liberation approaches precisely on schedule.
All right. Go Anton. Yeah, I don't like to think ill of the Democratic Party, but they dropped the ball big time, several times, and they lost a lot of support. Because there's nothing wrong with sticking up for your rights.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna just start with the caucus. So just so you.
I can't believe I'm agreeing with Tiffany Haynyard, but she's objectively right about election fraud.
No, this is strictly about the caucus. It's not about anything else. So if I decline to answer, I'm strictly talking about the caucus at this moment. And then y'all will get more interviews out of me. As long as y'all good to me, I'll be good to you. I have no issues. I just wanted people to say my side of the story and not just paint me as bad news, because it's not the truth, and y'all been witnessing it yourselves at the caucus. So that's kind of what's going on and been going on. So I pray that you pay attention to other people's, I don't want to say drama, but situations.
Was it rigged? I mean, what happened Tuesday night?
Yes, it's election rigging at its finest. So we got there at about 4:30. Some got there right before 5. When we tried to enter into the building, they told us we cannot come in because they had a party going on at 5 o'clock. Residents from throughout the township showed up in drones. We had buses out there, cars. You know, it was super cold. I know I ran into you outside, and I was out there with them. They didn't even let me in. So when I did try to go in originally around 5, it told me they had a party and we cannot enter into the building. I asked, can you please let the residents inside the building? They said, no, they have a party. I said, but this is our residents. Let them in. They said no. They did not register for the party. I felt that was so disheartening because at the end of the day, this is somebody's mom, auntie, cousin, uncle. You should let them in. It was cold outside, super cold. So I had a problem with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult conversation to have when you don't necessarily agree with the job that she's been doing and how she's been promoting herself all throughout her tenure as a supervisor and as mayor. So we're just going to speak about it from the supervisor's perspective because that's what she's talking about, because I have to be objective. And I know that it's very difficult for people to be objective. And I got to be objective because I didn't like it. For example, when we're talking about the presidential election, I didn't like it when they started to have election interference from Trump's perspective. And I don't like it when it happens on a local level because I'm a major advocate for participating at the local level. And if it's corrupt at the local level, whether it's the legislated official that you voted in or the election process, that's a problem. Now, of course, there's going to be people that say, well, I don't like her, or they feel like she stole, or she did a bad job, or whatever you want to frame it as. Then that's why you should have participated in the election process to prevent them from getting in the first place. However, we have to maintain integrity with the election process because it doesn't just swing one way. It swings both ways. And if you complain about it on one side, then you'd have to complain about it on the other side. I'll give you an example, right? I'm an advocate for free speech, not only when it comes to conservatives, but I'm an advocate for free speech when it comes to everybody because I wouldn't want it done to me, so I'm not going to advocate for it to be done to somebody else. I don't want people losing their platforms. I don't want people getting demonetized. I don't want people being shut up, hushed up, silenced. I'd rather debate them and beat them on an equal playing field than to sit here and find some caveat to say, hey, we having a party or whatever. And I absolutely believe her because this is a story that's been corroborated with multiple people prior to her having, actually jumping on here and having this conversation. So again, I have to be objective. And one of the reasons why I'm huge on being objective, as well as being consistent across the board, whether you're Democrat or Republican. And again, I'm going to back this up by saying that I'm not a Tiffany Henyard advocate. I've done so many different shows holding her accountable and saying that she's the worst mayor in America and all of this stuff. But objectively speaking, the reason that is because, and I use this example on the Millionaire Morning Show, is that just because you get her out there by circumventing the process that's supposed to happen and they want to bring in some old election rules and don't even abide by them, is similar to what happens in Chicago when you get Lori Lightfoot and people hated Lori Lightfoot and they hated the fact that they elected her based off of diversity, equity, and inclusion and because she was going to be the first woman, gay, black mayor and all of this other kind of crap, right? Triple, quadruple minority. But then you got Brandon Johnson and now he's 10 times worse than Lori Lightfoot is. And so just because you remove her because you're emotional don't mean that you're actually making the best decision from the person that then decided to circumvent the process again. Because if you get somebody in there that's similar, a little bit better, or even worse, it doesn't solve for the fundamental problem of why and how you're electing these people based off of misinformation, being misinformed, and only because you're emotional. And so you have to make informed decisions while protecting the electoral process so that we can then have a smart constituency, smart legislators, smart residents, informed residents that's participating in the process, not just because y'all getting a lot of coverage from a bunch of vloggers like myself that is bringing visibility to what happens in your town. And so in this instance, she is right.
Your name ever on the ballot? Did they ever actually, say Tiffany Henyard and they vote on it or no?
No one had the opportunity to basically be a nominee. And that's where they messed up at. You're supposed to allow anybody that wants to run for office opportunity to nominate themselves, let alone a slate, let alone anybody in the room can say, hey, I nominate myself for supervisor. I nominate myself for clerk. But they didn't give anybody the opportunity to do that. He only nominated himself and his slate, which was wrong. And I was fighting for my people to get in the building because it was cold outside.
And the worst part about that is, first of all, I thought that you were supposed to always have a space where there's enough room for everybody to be able to participate that wants to participate in that particular township. That's number one. And number two, the reason that I know she's telling the truth is not because I think that she has so much integrity, is because the meeting only lasted 7 minutes. The meeting literally only lasted 7 minutes. Yep, I did the research. Yep, I went through and looked at all of the interviews. Yep, I went through on TikTok and looked at everybody that was recorded and uploaded it. Yep, I looked at all of that stuff. If the meeting only lasts 7 minutes and you only nominate yourself and then you circumvent the process, you're basically having election interference, and all you're doing is setting yourself up for a bunch of lawsuits, a bunch of, you know what I'm saying, challenges in the process. And it just ruins the whole situation, and it sets the precedent for what's to come and showcases why it's a clown show in Thornton Township in the first place.
Nobody stood up to nominate you.
Well, we did. If you watch the tape, I nominated myself.
Is that what you were saying to Napoleon Harris from the board? We couldn't hear you.
Yes. Somebody got it on tape. I saw the video, and also my team have it on the tape. If you want the footage, we'll give it to you. But he did not acknowledge anyone or anybody's demand. I was the only one that stood up to him. As you guys know, I am a fighter. I would not be bullied. I would not let people do voter suppression. That was the biggest voter suppression I've ever seen. And we talk about history, right? Every time we talk about history, we're talking about people that fought for the right to vote. But yet, they didn't have the right to vote this time. Why? Why is that? Why mute the votes? Why mute the voices? Why mute the...
Hey, you should be able to beat her.
I have a problem with that, because if he thought he was going to win, he would have let him in. But he didn't, because it was my base that was outside. Because we couldn't get in.
He should have never did this in the first place. He should have just went with the normal process that's been happening over the last 30 years. And he should have just beat her. And nobody even knows who this guy is. They don't know what he's running on. They don't know what his platform is. They don't know what he's going to do for Thornton Township. They don't know anything. All they did is just go with him because they went against her, which is the same thing that they did. I hate even having this conversation. I can't believe I'm even having this conversation right now. I can't believe I'm having this conversation, but I know it's going to be people emotional inside of the comments, again, because they don't like her. But most of those type of people don't even show up to the polls to vote in the first place. Just beat her. If you think you're better than her, debate her, beat her, run a better campaign than her, raise more money than her, get the people behind you and beat her. That's it. You don't have to have a 7-minute meeting and then cloak it as you having a party and then circumvent the process and then think that you're going to get away with it. That shows that you shouldn't be in there either. She shouldn't be in there. You shouldn't be in there. Y'all need to have better people in there. And as a matter of fact, y'all need to consider a Republican on it.
He said, and I quote, "We are not letting anybody in until 6:30. 6:30 came, we were still outside. So when I finally got in, because people let me through the line, that's the only way I got in the building. Other than that, I would have been outside still with the people."
An attorney for Mr. Harris says you were not qualified because you didn't have a certified assessor on your ticket. What do you say to that?
That's not true. How would anybody know that if you didn't give me an opportunity to make my nomination? People can't just assume what they think I have. I have to make the nominations on the floor before someone can say that I didn't have some. That's not true.
What's next? How do you fight it?
So we will be in court. This is a legal battle.
See? Now you got to take up more resources from the township, from the county, from wherever, and it takes more taxpayer dollars, and you know she's not going away, so you might as well just beat her fair and square. But now y'all taxpayers, y'all stupid. It's the dumbest junk that I've ever seen before. Now the taxpayers is paying for more because now you got to go through the court process. And you're probably going to lose based off of what it is that I've seen. You're probably going to lose.
Everybody has been calling us, saying they're going to stand with Tiffany Henyard. I appreciate that. Even the naysayers said they're going to stand with me because people like righteousness. They don't like this
She's probably referring to me, to be honest with you.
Wrong way of dictatorship for government. That is not how you take over things. It was a hostile takeover. And the media was all out there. Y'all saw it firsthand. No one should ever get the opportunity to sit there and be a dictator in a community where you govern everybody. And that's why I think it was Channel 32, that he's a coward. He did not want to face me head up. He knew that I was going to dominate in that room. And that's why he did not allow my residents inside of the building.
What do you say to the allegations from Nikita Cloud that you tried to disrupt the event by mentioning yourself possibly a bomb threat, or the allegation that Mr. Price called and tried to cancel the event?
So,
don't we know Keita?
People that's got all these false accusations, false statements, I am suing for defamation of character.
I want to interview
I am suing because that is not true. Be able to back up what you report. And that's what I tell everybody. Everybody using my name and my face for views and clicks. But no one got facts. Everything y'all been doing has been smear campaign. And I have a problem with that.
I'm going to get Nikita Cloud up here. They're asking questions. I actually know her. We interviewed on my platform on the Millionaire Morning Show before. I'm going to get keyed up and we're going to have a conversation.
I come out and I speak with you guys because you don't want to fact check. That's one thing I love about Nate. Nate came and sat down with me. He fact checked. We give him the information, he go check it. He don't just run a story just because. And that's why I ask all y'all to do, at least be fair in the reporting. Because people look up to your stations. You are news. Northwest, East, South, you are the news. But yet, you guys are reporting off of drama. I don't like it. It's not a reality show, but y'all making it as that.
She's right. I mean, she's right. Honest to God, she's right. So you got to be objective enough to report it on both sides. Even when I do the Millionaire Morning Show, I get it from all sides. I get it from Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, local shows, vloggers, everything. And then I source it and I come up with my own opinion. Y'all let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. I kind of already know what y'all going to say. But I want to know what y'all think inside of the comments. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Just dropped the video yesterday. Also, Teach Henley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. And then last but not least, make sure you guys get your tickets. Come and kick it with me December 14th in Detroit. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you later. Peace.
Oh, these guys aren't passing through the threshold for some reason.
Akwarstwa ni patine in pama ayuad akja.
Ooh, it's taking a while. See, so what they did is they bamboozled her. They bamboozled her, and she's in the right. And that's what happens when you fuck over people like that and you get caught doing it. It makes you look like a douche and you lose credibility. So those people there got kind of animalistic and got physical with them and denied them access to the building, which is unacceptable. That's uncivilized, what they did. And they're going to win in court. I don't know how much money she's going to get out of that, but a whole lot. But, yeah, just another, Anton's right. Stupid people. Thinking they're going to bully their way through things. So he deserved it. People don't care about United Healthcare CEO's demise, say insurance is evil.
So if you haven't heard already, the United Healthcare CEO has just been assassinated. And I can't really say I'm surprised, nor do I care. And some people are going to be like, oh, that's cruel, blah, blah, blah. I don't really care. The reason I don't care is because these people are running billion and trillion dollar companies. And an insurance company at that I'm pretty sure has declined coverage for thousands of people. And there are thousands of people out here that have lost family members because United Healthcare declined much needed coverage for their loved ones. So the amount of blood that these billion and trillion dollar companies have on their hands is nothing compared to the fact that this man just lost his life today. And it's sad to say, but with the state of not only this country, but the world, this will become the norm if this is not the catalyst and the tipping point right now. Because if these billion and trillion dollar companies think they can continue to lobby against the best interests of American citizens and make things more expensive and continue to treat their workers and their consumers like shit and nothing will happen, they're going to continue to fuck around and find out. And for anybody that really has any sympathy for these fucking oligarchs, you need to do some self-reflection, bro. Because these fucking oligarchs are the same individuals, regardless of the company, that are contributing to the problems within the Congo, contributing to the problems that we have here in America when it comes to lobbying. These are the individuals that are the root of all of our problems. I'm not saying I advocate for things like this or at all, but if shit don't change quick, this is going to be a consistent norm within our society.
But you do. You do. I believe that you are advocating for it, and I hate when people say no disrespect, but then be disrespectful. I hate when people say, no, I'm not advocating, but anytime I hear a but after it, this is really the advocation for it. So let's just be very, very clear. Let's be very, very clear, right? The first question that I have to ask is everybody entitled? Think about what you say before you answer. Because I want to have an honest conversation. I'm no longer interested going into 2025 and saying the thing that makes everybody comfortable or just saying it because it seems like the right thing to say. I have genuine questions and I want genuine answers and I want to have a realistic conversation. And my goal is to stoke thought, not necessarily substantiate how you feel. So if we align and we think the same way, then that's dope. If we don't, I'm going to authentically give you my assessment, and it's just going to be completely opposite of what it is, and then we could just let the chips fall where they may. I'm not here to operate in an echo chamber. I'm only here to get to the root cause so that we can have conducive conversation that hopefully yields some kind of results. And my question is, at the root and the foundation of all of this, because we can get to the United Healthcare CEO shortly, but the root conversation that I want to ask or that I want to have, and then asking this question is everybody entitled to health care coverage? And when I say everybody, I mean everybody. I mean people that never paid into the system that we then have to cover from a taxpayer perspective. People that come over here as immigrants that then feel entitled to the system because it's broad reaching and covered. And regardless, it's not like you can go to the hospital and they can turn you down. It's not like they can go to the hospital and turn you down for an emergency. So illegal migrants, people that's just coming over here for the first time that need a huge surgery, an emergency surgery, and so they have to go in or whatever. People that live horrible lifestyles, and we know what happens within certain communities, and you know, they doing a drug bust, they get shot, then they get rushed to the hospital. Is everybody blanket entitled to healthcare coverage is what I'm asking. Because it's a difference between being entitled, that means that you deserve it without merit. Regardless of how much you pay into it, you are entitled, no matter what, you are entitled to this thing regardless, because there's always two sides to a coin. So I am of the impression that, first of all, I don't know what was going on in this man's life. Nor do I believe that him becoming CEO in 2021, because this is stoking great conversation and I love this. Nor do I believe him becoming CEO in 2021 that he is a representation of a horrible system, because I don't know him. I don't know him personally. I don't understand what the mindset is of him. And before we even found out what the motive, or you even catch the person that wound up doing it, we automatically say and condemn him. And we don't say pray for his family, his children, or anything like that. We just automatically condemn people. And let me make sure that I give credit to the content creator. So I'm always going to link back to the content creator in the description of the video if I can find it. And, you know, you guys just send me videos, and sometimes y'all send me videos of other people that's boasting videos. So, you know, where I can find it, I always like to link back to the content creator. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Also, Teach Henley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. And then get tickets to see me December 14th. In Detroit, final show of the year, discount code Anton, all of that is in the description. So my point is, or my question then becomes, do we no longer have sympathy or empathy before we even, like, is our default automatically to be wrong or automatically to be negative about the situation and say, well, he deserved it, or this is a reflection of the system, or a bunch of people got denied healthcare coverage? I think that each individual situation needs to be evaluated according to its own merit. I don't like doing a end all be all broad reach. This is the entirety of it. I don't believe that anybody is a monolith. I don't believe that every CEO is the same. I don't believe that everybody that got to the top did it negatively. I just don't believe that. And so I know that I'm going to be in the minority here, and I have been lately in the minority of a lot of these conversations, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because, again, this stokes conversation. Do I believe that there are companies that are benefiting significantly more than they're putting out? Absolutely. I still stand on the idea that you can't just by default say that somebody needs to lose their life. That is an extreme. You can't say that somebody needs to lose their life, or you're okay with somebody losing their life because you disagree with how they're running their company. Because now what's happening is that every multi-million dollar, billion dollar, trillion dollar company somehow, some way, then becomes evil because they are profitable and they are great. And that's the opposite of capitalism, which then leads into socialism and all of this other, and communism. And I'm absolutely not for that. Everybody in America, so many different people in America, don't even understand how great they got it. And they complain about an America that was built by the very same systems that you despise, but you will never move out. And if you do move out, you're still leveraging your American privilege and your ability to be able to earn as a citizen of the United States of America while living your privileged life, and then upsetting the system that they have in the country that you go and live at, because you are basically gentrifying what it is that you see over there. And I know it's always going to be people, Anton, you on the wrong side of this. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm just asking a question, and I'm pointing out some flaws in a lot of people's arguments. Could there be some truth to it? Maybe, absolutely. Again, I never jump to the conclusion and say that somebody should lose their life by an assassin. I don't know who this assassin is. I don't know what his character is. I don't know anything about him. I'm not going to default say that somebody needs to lose their life by an assassin because I don't necessarily like the healthcare coverage system that you are a part of. I don't know your individual situation or why you got denied. I don't know if you had a pre-existing condition. I don't know if you already knew that you had the condition and then tried to sign up so that you can finesse the system in order to get taken care of for something that you could have prevented in the first place. I don't know if you signed up for doing something that you wasn't supposed to do, knowing that you was going to have to pay the price for it, then got mad because you couldn't afford the drug prescription coverage amount. Maybe I'm off. Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Again, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon so we can get this money and you don't have to depend on all of these systems in order for you to win. I love you. I appreciate you. We're going to have an uncomfortable conversation on After Hours tonight. For real, for real.
site is like.
Our geothermal power cores have reached 90% of the charge we require. Statistically, our victory is beyond certainty.
Alright, we're getting there. Jesus.
What?
Brian was getting threats. Wife of United Healthcare CEO who was gunned down.
What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. I want to go over this a little bit because I was having a conversation with Carrie that's on After Hours with me, and she gave some talking points that caused me to do a little bit more of a deep dive to better understand this United Healthcare CEO situation. And so I want to share my findings with you guys, but I want to leapfrog off of this article that speaks to exactly what was happening behind the scenes, and there's so many other details. And this is one of the reasons why I try to reserve judgment before I just rush and say, hey, this is what it is or this is what it isn't, because we can have our opinions, but then at the same time, are we trustworthy enough to come back and say, well, we was wrong, or this is what really happens, or report the facts, right? But let me deep dive into this a little bit. It says the wife of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson says her husband had been receiving some threats prior to the fatal shooting. All right, now I don't necessarily believe this, but we'll get there. It says the wife of the slain health insurance CEO Brian Thompson. Now, and also I want y'all to understand that he was the CEO of the health insurance division. The United Healthcare Group was the big company, and this was a subsidiary of it. Okay, so there's a bigger CEO, which he released a statement also. But let me get into this. It said Wednesday that her husband had been getting threats before he was gunned down in Midtown Manhattan. There had been some threats, Paulette Thompson told NBC News, and her first comment since her husband was murdered early Wednesday. Goes on to say, and I guess that's her right there, huh? Interesting. Goes on to say that basically, I don't know, a lack of coverage, she said, referring to her 50-year-old husband's role as CEO of United Healthcare's insurance division. That's the guy that wound up committing the crime. They wind up getting his location and everything like that, all of that on camera, and they also got his face without a face mask on. And this details and documents the whole situation where he actually had, at 6:44 a.m., got at the guy right in front of the hotel. People had been saying that he had been hanging out, had a mask on the whole time. The shooter, who was lying in wait alongside the building, he fired at him. Number 3 said the shooter ran into the alleyway between 54th and 55th, which he had an e-bike. Now, we know a lot of migrants like to use e-bikes, so it was easy for him to get away and there wasn't a whole lot of traffic. Number 4, they said once he was West 55th, once at West with 55th Street, the shooter continues to walk on 6th Avenue where he gets onto an e-bike. 6:48 a.m., the shooter rides the e-bike to Center Drive, and then he jumped out at Central Park where it wasn't a lot of coverage. So apparently he knew it wasn't a lot of coverage at Central Park. And then it goes down to say that, you know, joined the company in 2004. He was promoted to CEO in 2021. So it just kind of breaks down and gives a timeline. She says, I don't know the details. I just know that he said there were some people that had been threatening him. I can't really give a thoughtful response. And then it also says, I just found out, and I'm trying to console my children, and confirm that the police told her it is believed that to have been a targeted attack. All right, so basically what she's saying is that there had been all these threats and things that was coming at him. Crime Stoppers is now offering a $10,000 reward. He was rushed to the hospital where he basically died and all of this other type of stuff, right? And what Carrie was basically saying was, Anton, I'm not sure that I really believe it. The CEO, he seemed a little weird when I was looking at his report of it and all of this stuff, right? And then I started thinking about it and I'm like, man, this is a little weird, right? It is so easy for people to automatically get in an uproar, and this is what the general public is doing. They jumping into an uproar at the whole idea of the insurance companies being the enemy, but isn't that the perfect ploy to write on the cartridges of whatever it is that they wrote on the cartridges that basically demonizes the insurance company because they already know that it's people that feel some type of way about it. Now, I also read a report, and I don't know how true it is, that the wife and the husband had been separated and they had been living in different places or different apartments. That also speaks to a lot of other things that was happening inside of his life. So, and then last but not least, on top of that, they saying that the Department of Justice was investigating him for insider trading. And so I believe that it's always a money play. It's always a bunch of stuff that's going on. This guy has so many things that was going on in his life that I don't know what was at play or who the person was. And I'm not even sure if they're going to arrest the person. But they tried to make it seem like that, or it seems as though what is being being portrayed in the media is that there was this guy and these disgruntled people that's mad at the insurance industry. And then ultimately one of them took it out on him at 6 something in the morning. And he had been waiting all day. And he basically wrote his whole manifesto by writing it on these cartridges and stuff like that. I'm going to just be honest with you. After Carrie broke it down, and she can communicate it better than I can, and I'm going to clip it up on a After Hours platform. After Carrie basically broke down what her thoughts was about the whole thing, it had me second guessing what my position was. And that me thinking that it was, and falling into the media hype initially before reserving and then saying that I want more information to come out before I fully make my assessment, that it was just a disgruntled customer. I don't believe that it was somebody that was a part of the healthcare coverage that got denied and they was just mad at the insurance industry and then they decided to take a hit out. Come on, stop. In my opinion, it seems to be a diversion. And then all of a sudden, the wife just started talking about how it's some threats that was coming out. Man, this man been CEO since 2021. And if there's that many people, if all of these people, because I'm going in the comments and I'm seeing all of this stuff, if it's that many people that is making an assessment to try to say that this guy or whatever it was that he was into was so messed up and it was so evil that all of these people were disgruntled at the insurance industry itself, then why would that be out of the norm? And then all of a sudden she's able to quote exactly a similar thing that's of what it is that he wrote on the cartridge. I just don't go for it. I just don't. I just think that it's something bigger. I think it's a bigger ploy. I'm not falling into the whole, oh man, it was just I'm not going for it. It's all of it seems fishy. Then he's being investigated by the Department of Justice. It just seems fishy. It's too many connected dots that's easily being put together for the media to just find out, for me to just think that it's just, oh, it was just a hit and that's the end of the conversation. I'm not going for it. But y'all let me know as this thing gets uncovered, and I'm going to cover it on the Millionaire Morning Show, and I'm going to continue to give y'all updates as I see it. As this thing continues to get covered, I'll share with you my thoughts. I love you. I appreciate y'all. Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Also, Teach Henley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you later. Peace.
Trying to get all the little bonuses and just take my time on this one. We're about an hour, 5 minutes. This one, I put a comment on this one.
And the things.
I didn't really finish. I said, welcome to the Victim Olympics. I love this one. Because he's basically saying that if you're a black conservative, you'll catch Harold. Well, I mean, you're crying about it. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I couldn't finish it. It's embarrassing. That's my child. You're not stopping me from seeing my kid, Anton.
We gotta let men in, and when we let them in, that opened up a whole can of worms, a whole bunch of other doors.
Most people don't like the
You
person
get to
they
taking
with
on their
anyway.
trauma, they feeling, they depression, they all of that. You get to feeling all of that,
It is
and you be
definitely
stuck there.
It's different as a woman because we definitely, you guys are entering us. Like y'all energy literally be in us.
I know.
Y'all spirit be in us.
I left it there.
Yeah, so that's a soul tie, hoe ass nigga.
Ain't no toe. Look. Most of y'all, like not even most of y'all. It's most people. Most people don't like the person they with. They found that out during COVID when the baby making levels was down low, but domestic violence was up. People had to literally look at each other and say, "Damn, I really got what you out of convenience. I work with you. You're at my favorite Starbucks. You're at my favorite club. I didn't really want to be with you."
Facts.
So those people was literally at it every single day, going crazy. The baby making society was low as hell around that time. So people only with people based off of convenience.
Yeah, I mean, we all are in a certain sense. Like, convenience is a real thing. Shit.
Okay, on that note, let's get to the next question. Because what the fuck are you even talking about?
I want to disagree.
Richie, what's going on in the field?
I fucking agree. Clear. We back with a real one in the building. This is Let's Round About It. I got my man with me. What's your name? David. And here what you dealing with.
Yeah, I would like for the panel to speak about co-parenting through the lens of liability. A lot of times you all talk about through the lens of relationship, but there's liability that comes with disciplining someone else's child. There's a liability that comes with dealing with the biological parent of that child. If you all could, just from experience, from what you've seen, because I am a divorced father and I do have custody of my daughters, and I don't bring women around my children.
Shout out to you.
Yeah, I don't bring women around my children, not only to protect my daughters, but to protect the female as well, because my daughters are very protective of their dad, and I don't want them saying anything that may, jeopardize the reputation of that race as well. How do you all handle that?
Ask it one more time, boss.
All right.
Speak through the lens of liability when it comes to co-parenting someone else's child.
Are you okay with? I'm sorry.
Be it discipline, be it dealing with the biological parent of that child that's not in the home, those type of things, because that comes with liability. Again, which is why I agree with Anton that it's something we should avoid. But I know we all want mercy and grace for ourselves and justice for everybody else, but sometimes we have to just live with the consequences of our actions.
Let me
It's
answer.
it's only a liability when the man does not have control and leadership in his situation.
What the fuck?
Let me tell you why. Absolutely, because I'm gonna take a page out of Anton's book. If he always says, no matter what, if you even break up, that's always your chick. Meaning you should always have some level of control over what's going on in your family. If you can't introduce your new girl to your baby mama or to your children without it being animosity, you have no control over your village.
And you need to.
Y'all, but why are you acting like she's not there? Have you met these hoes?
Yeah, I've met a lot of these hoes.
Obviously not.
I've met a lot of these hoes.
I don't even have a
just
baby mama, and I know they're not good.
Just like y'all say, women make bad decisions when it comes to who they had kids with. You niggas be picking hood rat ass, bottom of the barrel ass bitches.
That's true.
And then get
That's
mad when a bitch like me come around and gotta actually help y'all out in these situations to teach you how to talk to this bottom barrel ass bitch.
Listen. A lot of y'all are jumping into relationships, and y'all doing it, but y'all not fixing yourself before y'all do something.
That's true.
That's 100%.
Honest to God, like y'all are getting with people because y'all don't want to be alone.
Absolutely.
And so y'all then start to introduce different people into the relationship and to y'all kids, and it damages the kids. Yeah. And so a lot of times y'all need to sit down for a minute, put that pussy on ice. Like it don't always
that little pussy be on fire.
You don't gotta.
And I agree with you. I'm not. Why are you trying to equalize it? No. It was a man's question, so I'm speaking to. Listen. We got
Points were made.
No.
Points were made.
No. I wanted to get on the mic and say that. But the key though.
Go over there.
We got 3 women and speak to it from a women's perspective.
Yeah.
So I don't have to do that. I only can speak from a man's perspective. I believe it should be on both sides.
I like her.
They should address that. Here's the thing though. I don't care what she do. I am responsible for me. You have to put yourself in a position to where you start taking accountability. And this is the reason why this is such a difficult situation. Because when I see women that don't take accountability, yet they are the majority of the time, having the kids with them, they start introducing themselves and their kids in a situation after situation after situation. That's a problem. Because then that means that you ain't even doing the work to put yourself in a position for the next person that's supposed to be your husband. Man. So now you start having soul ties, you start slutting, I want to have a moment to myself. What about the kids? I always am by default going to say, because even when he talk about, to answer his question, about liability, right? You can't tell no man not to come over and be a participant in his kid's life.
You're not going to come to my house.
Listen. You cannot tell a man that he cannot biologically come and participate in his kid's life.
Watch
this. You can't do it. So when you start to introduce more people into the relationship, you start to get into a throuple. It becomes worse because now you have 3, 4 people that got differences of opinion, different ways in which they parent, different religions, different everything, and they all inputting all of their trauma because y'all fighting together. He fighting for his kid. He don't like him being around his kid. He don't want him to come into the kid because you did my girl wrong. And so it becomes traumatizing for the child.
Until all of the adults can take a step back.
I believe no.
But I feel like active fathers don't go through that for real.
To his question, in my opinion, I know y'all got a difference of opinion. I think that people need to be by themselves for a long time before they even start to introduce somebody else into their kids' life.
I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that. Get out of the dating pool because you're the reason why it has piss in it.
To answer his question,
you need to fix yourself.
Because he said about co-parenting and what's the liabilities of it, right? Like obviously you're looking at every situation different, right? If the man is not in the child's life at all, right? You're already coming into a situation where you can pretty much,
dictate the home.
Let me come in and let me mold. And you already have in your mind, what if he comes back in? How am I going to handle this situation? It's all about analyzing, like, okay, is this this woman worth dealing with everything? And I was like, hell yeah, 100%.
I don't know if I'm gonna
you know what I'm
make
saying?
it past this
And then that's why it worked out the way it worked out. You know what I'm saying? Like now, I cut off conversation, especially if the communication is, you know what I'm saying, extra and, you know what I'm saying, violent or whatever the case is. I'm stepping in the way of that. Now I deal with the child's father. We having a conversation. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm taking that toxic shit out. That might be your big mama, but that's my wife. It's a whole different respect level now. So you're going to have to deal with me.
That's his kid.
In real life, I feel like that's how you help to control the liability. You help to control the liability by letting that other parent get to know you and understand what the boundaries is going to be. Because let me tell you something. I have the exact same boundaries. I co-parent with my husband, baby mama. Me and her talk. And that happened in court. When the judge said, oh, y'all keep on being friction with y'all, she's not gonna bring that energy to me because what happens? You don't wanna look foolish to what, or you don't wanna let her know you got one up on her. You don't wanna let her know that, oh, you controlling my energy a little bit. So me and her don't get into it. We got a whole book together about co-parenting.
Maru Jamunja.
Defensive protocols have engaged. No!
Ooh, that's good. Oh, we did get past this guy. Nice. All right, guys. It's been an hour and 19 minutes. I'm going to stop the video, and then I'll start a new one in a bit. I'm going to take a little break real quick. All right? Thanks for watching.